Let's talk a little bit about this particular exhibit that Jerry Gifford has been so much a part of, but you as an entertainer, what personally does this exhibit mean to you in being recognized as a Northern Kentucky music legend?
Well, it means a great deal, and you know, off camera today we've been talking about a lot of great talent from around here through the years. Northern Kentucky talent, there's a world of it, and they need to be recognized. You know, they've come and gone, and but it's going to mean a whole lot to the area, and a lot of attention will be focused on a lot of these musicians that never dreamed they'd ever get that kind of attention.
Now, you guys, before you came here, was sitting outside there, and you had some great stories going. So, I didn't get to hear those, so I want to sit back and hear a story or two. So I'm going to turn it over to Jerry and tell some good stories.
Go ahead and give him a couple. What we were talking about out there that you know that only we know these kind of things.
Oh, we were talking about, you know, people coming up that I hadn't thought of in years. People that played music around here for years, but you know, to follow up on the answer or the question you asked me if I could put a cap on that. You know, on Friday and Saturday night when I'm on stage in the club in Wilder, you know, I'm honored every Friday and Saturday night by the people that are there enjoying my music.
You sound like Jerry Gifford.
That's what it is. Right?
It's an honor, but the honor of the Northern Kentucky Music Hall of Fame will go on after the music stops, and that's what it's going to mean to a lot of people.
A fondest memory you have over your career?
I got several, but
well, give us one or two.
Well, playing on the hayride back in 1973. Kenny Price had me on the hayride. I was
McNew and the dancers.
Midwest.
Oh yeah,
Midwestern hayride.
Yeah, but Kenny Price was in charge of it then, and I was working with a group that was playing with Connie Smith, and I was opening shows for Connie Smith, and we played a show in Georgia, and Kenny Price was on the show, but I knew Kenny Price, but you know, he didn't know me, and so we played the high school in, I think, Zebulon, Georgia, and I opened the show. And of course, I sung a song that I love and still sing today, "Guide Me Home, My Georgia Moon." I sung that song, and of course the crowd loved it. They stood up. I got a standing ovation. I'm leaving the stage, and Kenny's waiting in the wings to come on after me. I'm leaving the stage, and he's going on. He said, "Man, where have you been?" He said, "You live up in Northern Kentucky?" I said, "Well, yeah." He said, "Well, I need to get you on the hayride." Yeah. So he did.
That's great. Yeah. That is a great story.
So.
Any other stories? Would you go to your own venue there at Bobby Mackey's over the years?
You know, every Friday and Saturday night, it's you know, it's a highlight.
Tell them the story about where you got your bull, because I think that's kind of neat. And what
Yeah, I was on Ernest Tubbs' record shop one time too, and that was exciting back in the early days of my career. After the Grand Ole Opry goes off at the Ernest Tubbs record shop. But anyway. I hadn't had the club too long. It was coming up on a year, and WUBE radio, we started having what they call redneck Rileys, and it was like draft beer was like a quarter or something, and it was just to get musicians in. We had a big jam session on a Sunday, and the station people were there, and I had been hearing about this urban cowboy movie they were making at Mickey Gillies out in Pasadena. I'd been hearing about it, and I asked the radio station about it, and of course they'd heard some things about it too. But I got with R.J. Seaford was a sales rep at WSAI that had just gone country just prior to that. So we got to talking about it. Well, he didn't say anything at the time. We just talked about it, and wasn't a couple hours later he called me back, and he'd called out there and found out all about this mechanical bull and how to get it and when to get it, the whole thing. I thought, well, man, I have to see it. I can't order a bull like that not knowing, you know, I know Texas is cowboy oriented, but I didn't know these boys here in Kentucky would be as cowboy as out there. Well, they were. But so RJ and I caught a plane and went out to Houston and went to Gilley's and visited for the night and watched people ride it. And the night we were there was the night they were wrapping up the Urban Cowboy movie, the scenes in the parking lot when the robbery took place and the fight took place and Sissy and Bud got back together and all that. Well, after they finished up the shooting that night, Deborah Winger come in and was riding the bull there in Gilley's. So anyway, before the night was over, I ordered a mechanical bull, and about 2 weeks later it came in. I think October of '79 is when the bull arrived in Wilder, and everything went crazy. Before anybody ever saw the movie, it went crazy. And then the movie came out June of '80, which was 6, 7, 8 months after I had the bull. Then people would go see it in the theater. Then there'd be a line out front for people to get in to see the real thing and ride it. They couldn't wait. So that was an exciting time too.
Well, listen, this has been a distinct pleasure for me to be able to sit at the same table with two Northern Kentucky music legends and Jared Gifford and Bobby Mackey at the same table. And this is history in the making, and we're glad you are part of this exhibit. And I want to thank you for your contribution to music in Northern Kentucky.
Thank you, and thanks for thinking of me to be a part of the Northern Kentucky Hall of Fame.
We're just starting, aren't we, Bobby?
Yes, we are.
Well,
Thank you so much.
We couldn't have it without Bobby Mackey.
Well, I appreciate it.
All right.